Greetings, Minecrafters! I am Nate T. Bird, and welcome back to Crypt Behind the Scenes, Episode 11. In this episode, I'll be explaining how I did the revive system in my map, Crypt Crawler.
The first thing that you should know is that there are two objectives that I use to track which players need to have the revive system activate for them. The first is revive. It is a death count objective, so it increments whenever the player dies, and this is used to track when the player needs to have to get their health boost effects and to be healed. The second is death, and this is once again a death count objective, and this is used to track for when the player needs to have their penalty for dying applied, and also for when they need to teleport to face a specific direction after they respawn. The entire system is activated with one command block. This command block right here executes a fill command for all players who have a revive score that is at least 1, meaning that they just died or they just leveled up. As you might have noticed in the last episode, the level up system also activates the revive system. It does this by setting the revive score of the players who just leveled up to 1. This is because the players that level up need to have their health boost applied to them after they level up. This right here is the revive system. The fill command fills in all of these wool blocks with redstone blocks to activate all of these command blocks in one tick. This half of the system right here activates for players with a score of revive that is 1, and this half right here activates for players with a score of death that is 1. Right here, all of these command blocks apply the health boost effect based on the player's level. So right here, this will affect all players that are level 1 with a health boost effect that is a lower potency. This other command block right here sets for all players who have a level score of 5. It gives them a health boost effect with a higher potency. So that's what most of these command blocks at least, do, is they just give a higher level health boost depending on the level of the player. Also, right here at the end of this system, we give the players a instant health effect, healing them fully after they have the health boost applied. Then we also set their revive score back to 0 if it is 1. This just readies the system for another player and just makes it so that the player is no longer being tracked as needing to have the health boost applied. These next commands are a little bit more confusing just because it is a lot of scoreboard math that determines how much gold the player should lose based on the difficulty that they choose and their total amount of gold. All of these command blocks activate for players with a death score that is 1, meaning that they just died and they need to be respawned. This first command block right here sets their penalty score to equal that of their gold score. Penalty is a dummy objective that I use to track how much gold they should lose from their final score. So right here we are setting their penalty score to be the same as their gold score. This comes into play a little bit later, which is right here actually. This divides their penalty score by the difficulty. So the penalty score in this case would be 170. This is because that's how much gold I have, and so my penalty would be 170. Now if we divide that by the difficulty, my difficulty score is 10. This is because I'm dividing my penalty by 10 to make it equal 10%. If I was to try to make it so that I lose 25% of my gold, then my difficulty score would be 4. You might not understand why, but just know that it works, and that's the way I do it. So the difficulty score is a dummy objective that I use to track how much of a percentage the player should lose when they die. So now my penalty score is 17 because I lose 10% of 170, which should be 17. But because I can't lose 7, I have to lose in increments of 5, just because that's the way that I wanted it to work. So this one right here, this command block sets the remainder score to be the same as penalty. Now, remainder is what I use to track how much of a remainder is left over, or how much over I am from 5. So I'll explain it a little bit more later, but just know that this is how much gold should be not lost. Yeah, that was terrible. Just bear with me. So we set their remainder score to be the same as their penalty score. Then we divide the remainder score using modular division by 5. 5 is a dummy objective that I set. I set it to 5 so that it divides the remainder by 5. Now, remainder is 17 in this instance because that's what my penalty score was. So now remainder is also 17, but when we divide it using modular division by 5, we're left with 3 and a remainder of 2. So 5 goes into 17 3 times, but then after that there's still 2 left over that it can't go into at all. So our remainder score is now 2. Then this next command block right here subtracts from the penalty score the remainder score. So our penalty score is 17, and we subtract 2 from it because that's our remainder score. So now our penalty score is 15. See how that works? I took 17, I subtracted the remainder after you divide it by 5, and that gives me a number that is multiplied or divisible by 5. And then this command block right here tells the player how much gold they lost using some tell raw mechanics. You can have it show the player their score using this score, and then we define who it is. If you do a star, it just says that it's the player who's activating, who it is telling this to. So star just means the player who is viewing the message. And then we can also specify the objective, which in this case is penalty. So we're going to tell them their score, what it is. So we're going to tell them 15. So right here it says you lost, and then it'll say 15 because that's the value of penalty. And then it will tell them gold, and because you died. So that is just a little bit of a cosmetic, but it also, I believe it adds. And then this one right here, just finally we're getting to actually subtract the penalty from their gold score. So gold is 170, penalty is 15, so we subtract that from 170, and we're left with our final gold. I understand if that was confusing. It is kind of a lot of math, a lot of numbers. I'll see what I can do to add some actual text onto the screen to hopefully make it a little bit more easy to understand. These next 4 command blocks are not math, luckily, so hopefully they should be easier to understand. With the checkpoint system, a long time ago in an episode, we set the direction score of the player. This just determines which direction we want the player to face when they respawn, because by a default, they always spawn facing south. So what this does is it teleports them to face a different direction based on their direction score. So right after they respawn, they face south, but then immediately after they get teleported to face a different direction depending on their direction score. And then finally, we set their death score back to 0 if it is 1, just to once again reset it so that we're no longer tracking that player as needing to have all of these command blocks activate for them. So once again, let's just review this to hopefully make it easier to understand. There's one command block that activates the entire system. It activates the system, and then all of these command blocks give health boost. Depending on the level, it heals the player. Then we reset the revive score. Then we do a bunch of math to determine how much gold the player should lose. Then we teleport them to face the correct direction, and then we set their death score back to 0. I hope you learned something, and I hope you understood. If you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and have a fantastic day.